One fine evening, in a big, cozy house, Tom the cat was on a mission. The kitchen smelled delicious, like roasted chicken, buttery biscuits, and creamy cheese. His owner, the lady of the house, had spent all day preparing a grand feast. But Tom wasn't interested in everything, just the cheese. The golden, melty cheese sat on the counter, glowing under the warm kitchen light. The problem? Jerry the mouse was interested in it too. As soon as Tom tiptoed toward the cheese, Jerry zoomed past him and grabbed a piece. Not so fast. Tom pounced, but Jerry was too quick. He darted under the table, laughing. Just then, they both heard a strange sound, asterisk clink, clank, rattle, asterisk the big pot on the stove shook all by itself. Tom's fur stood on end. Jerry's whiskers twitched. "What's that?" Jerry whispered. Tom gulped and peeked inside the pot. To his shock, it wasn't just soup inside, it was magic soup, the chef's secret recipe. The cook had been using a special ingredient, a drop of invisible spice that made the food float. Jerry grinned. "Imagine if we had that spice." Tom had an idea. He grabbed a spoon and sprinkled a tiny bit of the magic spice onto a piece of cheese. Instantly, the cheese floated up. But before Tom could catch it, Jerry jumped and took a bite midair. "Whoa! This cheese is amazing," Jerry said, spinning in circles. Tom pounced again, but the magic cheese made Jerry bounce all over the kitchen. Jerry bounced onto the shelf, into the fruit basket, and finally, asterisk plop, asterisk, right into Tom's paws. Just then, the cook returned. Tom and Jerry froze. The lady saw the floating cheese, the spilled soup, and the two troublemakers. She sighed and shook her head. "I should have known, you two just can't stay out of my kitchen." But instead of scolding them, she smiled. "Since you love my cooking so much, how about a deal? If you behave, I'll share my famous cheese biscuits with both of you." Tom and Jerry looked at each other. "A truce? For cheese biscuits?" They nodded. And that's how the greatest kitchen rivalry turned into a delicious friendship, at least until the next meal. The end. It was a quiet night in the big house. The clock struck midnight, and all the lights were off, except in the kitchen. A delicious smell filled the air. Jerry the mouse peeked out from his tiny hole in the wall. His nose twitched. Chocolate cake? Creamy cheese? Fresh bread? His stomach growled. Meanwhile, Tom the cat was already sneaking toward the fridge. He had seen the cook place a giant chocolate cake on the table before bedtime. It was the perfect midnight snack. Jerry tiptoed toward the cake, but as soon as he touched it, whoosh! A whisk flew past him. Tom had grabbed a spoon and was ready for battle. "You're not getting that cake, Jerry," Tom whispered. Jerry grinned. "Oh, we'll see about that." Tom lunged, but Jerry dodged, running across the counter. He climbed up a stack of plates, grabbed a piece of cheese, and tossed it behind him. Tom, distracted by the flying cheese, caught it, but slipped on a banana peel. Crash! Tom landed face first in a bowl of whipped cream. Jerry laughed, but suddenly, they both heard footsteps. The cook was waking up. Thinking fast, Jerry grabbed a napkin and cleaned Tom's face. Then, he pushed a chair under the table and jumped onto Tom's head. "Hide!" Jerry whispered. Tom, still confused, dived behind the fridge. Just as the cook walked in, the kitchen looked perfectly fine. The cook yawned. Must have been dreaming. She turned off the light and went back to bed. As soon as she was gone, Tom and Jerry looked at each other, then at the cake. Jerry tore off a tiny piece and handed it to Tom. "Truce?" Tom hesitated, then smiled. "Truce." And so, for the first time ever, Tom and Jerry shared a midnight feast together, until morning came, and their chase began all over again. The end.